It's Mother Nature at her most elegant and her most destructive. The southern jet stream has swerved north, sending tropical air crashing into the cold of a Canadian winter. The ensuing ice storm slowly cripples parts of central Canada. Wave after wave of freezing rain coats entire cities in ice and crushes things we take for granted. But others have yet to feel the brunt of the storm. In a house just outside Ottawa, Tasha Gemina and Jody McKellar are unaware of the disaster crystallizing around their home. Tasha turns in early. Their second child is due any time.
I was pretty tired and being pregnant and everything, so I went to bed around 9 o'clock, 9:30. I didn't know the weather was getting bad. I hadn't watched the news or anything.
This is the news. Tasha's world and the world of millions all around is about to reel from the brunt of 5 days of an icy weather nightmare. 3 million people are left in the dark. Hundreds of thousands have no heat. And this in the middle of a Canadian winter. The next morning, Tasha is awakened at 6 a.m. by the sound of tree limbs falling on her roof.
There was loud crashes and bangs, and the walls were shaking and everything, and I didn't know what was going on. I tried switching on light switches and stuff, nothing worked. I went to make a coffee, but of course that didn't work, and then I started getting labor pains and stuff. I was just thinking, oh, not today, please not today, this can't be happening. And then when we opened the door and my pains were coming faster and faster, I knew what was happening, and I just praying everything was gonna turn out.
Tasha wakes Jody and tells him it's time to go.
Hey, hon.
What Tasha and Jody will face outside is an unfolding crisis. As the Canadian Army rushes in, another army of hydro workers can't stop what's shaping up to be a total power failure in the dead of winter. And there will be no relief from the weather. Diverted by an unyielding high-pressure cell off Florida, the warm, wet air the jet stream carries takes a northward detour. It blankets a dome of polar air over central Canada and unleashes a daily deluge of warm rain onto a frigid lower layer.
Cold front in here somewhere.
Climate specialist David Phillips watches the phenomenon unfold.
And so what happens is the rain falls through that layer, begins to freeze, gets below freezing, but stays as liquid. It's called supercooled water droplets. And when that liquid water hits the ground, it spreads out into a thin veneer of the most tenacious, the toughest ice you can imagine. You can only break it by hitting it with a hammer.
In Montreal, a single overheated power station is all that is left serving downtown, the nerve center in the crisis. If the station fails, so will dozens of emergency services.
Un blackout total à Montréal, sans eau.
Quebec Premier Lucien Bouchard reveals how close the city is to the brink. Unless lines are restored, Montreal's last water pumping station will fail. The city will then have no water, the most essential of all services. In Ottawa, as Tasha and Jody prepare to face the treacherous roads, paramedics Bill McGladry and Mark Lafleur are just starting their shift. They know by the drive into work that this day will be like no other. It takes Jody 15 minutes to clear and scrape the truck.
It was chaos, branches everywhere, the truck covered in ice.
Tasha's contractions are now almost back to back.
I was saying, hurry up, you're going, and there was some cars in the ditches, and people were going really, really slow. And then I felt the baby drop, and I knew we really had to hurry. I told Jody, really gotta hurry, come on, gotta go. And still people, he was honking his horn, had his four-ways on, but people wouldn't get out of the way.
As contractions overwhelm Tasha, Jody realizes they won't make it to the hospital. He pulls over and, using his cell phone, makes a 911 distress call.
What is your emergency? Yes, I have a pregnant woman in my truck. She's not going to make it to Riverside, I don't think.
As Tasha screams from the pain of contractions, the 911 operator tries to calm Jody and assess the situation.
Hold it, this lady. She's 23.
The operator determines Jody's location and dispatches paramedics Mark LaFleur and Bill McGladry into the ice-coated pre-dawn. Across the frozen city, only the lights from their ambulance and other emergency vehicles swirl through the darkness. And as Tasha's contractions intensify, the 911 operator continues to feed Jody instructions.
What you're going to do, you're going to keep her warm. Don't try to prevent birth, okay? You lay her down as much as you can in your car, okay? Tell her to take slow, deep breaths, okay? You have to calm her down.
But a tense situation is rapidly turning critical. Jody tells the 911 operator he can see the baby's head.
The gas right there. Don't push. Don't push. Just take deep breaths, okay?
Paramedics LaFleur and McGladry close in, driving through fallen debris and slick streets. But time is running out. Tasha is panic-stricken.
Yeah, the head's coming out too. You can see the head now? Yeah, I can see something coming. Hang on, big girl. You're good.
It appears Jody and Tasha may have to deliver the baby on their own.
Hang on, I'm just standing to the straight here. Straight here, almost touch.
After a harrowing 15-minute drive through the ice-covered city, paramedics LaFleur and McGladry arrive.
Everything okay? She was wondering, well, are we not going to the hospital? And I said to her, no, we're going to do it right here in the back of the truck.
Okay, he's coming out. He's coming out? Okay, yeah, he's crowning. He's crowning, okay.
Moments later,
Okay, the baby's coming out. Looks good, looks good.
a newborn greets the world.
Everything's fine. Very, very well. You did very well, Mom. You did very, very well.
With relief, Jody announces the birth of his son.
Just thought I'd let everyone know that a little boy named Jesse was just born here on the road.
I was grateful for them. Very, very grateful. I prayed for them to come, and they came. They're my saviors.
8-pound, 4-ounce Jesse McKellar is born into a world buckling under a thickening veneer of ice.
The amount of ice in the national capital of Canada, Ottawa, was estimated to be 3.2 trillion tons of ice. That would be the weight of 75,000 Titanics.
The Army clears debris and helps hydro workers repair a once mighty power system. In Montreal, the single power line holds, keeping the water pumps going until more lines are up. Those who have power and heat share it with others. Churches, community centers, and schools become makeshift refugee camps. Many choose to rough it out at home. And little Jesse's first 2 weeks of life are spent without power.
I don't know what I'll tell them. I have newspaper articles and stuff like that, and I'll show them that. I don't really want to tell them the week you were born was the worst week of my life, but I don't know. I don't know what I'll tell them. Just be born in our truck and was lucky.
It is 31 days before power is returned to the last home in the afflicted area. 15 deaths are blamed on the ice storm. The cost of damage tops $1 billion. Canadians will remember it as the storm of the century. Meteorologists will remember it as the time the jet stream took a rare detour